So all kind of things happen. I wrote in the paper, but this is what I left, and these are the people which are missing or have never arrived. I did mention everything. I mentioned most of everything. I mentioned what has happened. I went again to the Austrian embassy to collect my documents. I know it's way too much competitions and way too heavy competitions, so I have two bags of documents, or I have two bags of actually paperwork that I've been involved in like for at least since the year 2016, and 2 years since my case actually started in Switzerland. I actually highlighted all the problematics. I remember clearly that before 2017, or prior to my arrival in here, I was doing a certain type of jobs which is actually listed under the Rome Statute. And it's not okay to find actually too much criticism and too much other things. However, I have actually this meeting, and it became like a silly situation of actually all the many people that are involved. It's like just to showcase the strength. Someone actually need to, how can I actually stop dealing with all these individuals? And apparently, as former neighbors were robbed by neighbors, the same has happened now, and it appears actually it's like people just covering their head and doing all sorts of crimes. This is actually the first time that I'm seeing this. I worked on too many things in my life. I got compensation, I get probably with people who traveled, as well as some sort of how can I call it probably a salary. Unfortunately, I'm faced with a type of individuals who dislike everything, or there seems actually to be always a highlighted problematic with everything. On the 29th of July 2017, I clearly remember the position that I was in and the type of people that I actually tried to escape from, or like the type of people who were actually just following me around and around and around, like mentally ill people or like deranged in the head individuals. They met and I have written all the necessary legal requirements and more. I did state here that I've written to the Defense Ministry, the Presidency, to the local, to the police near the Swedish Embassy, to the General Attorney in Reviso, the Austrian Embassy in Tunis and Algiers, the Swedish Embassy in Algiers, Bermuda Course, the Austrian Defense Ministry, the Canadian Defense Ministry, the American Defense Ministry, the French Ambassador in Algiers, the Austrian Consul in Algiers, the green uniform people, the Higher Education Ministry, the French Presidency, the House of Canada, the International Criminal Court, the Council of Europe, the European Court of Human Rights, the Court of Justice of the European Union, foreign ministries, and the security of Algiers, as well as several embassies in as well as several embassies Austrian embassies around the world, just to showcase to them that this is actually the world-renowned solution that they have actually proposed. I did remember that from the first things is like some strong opposition from coming from Sweden, and things coming from parts of the Swedish population, which might have actually have been triggered by a neighbor who has actually forwarded everything to another neighbor who is originally from Sweden. Basically, they told them lies, and those lies were transmitted to the police where I was basically studying, and they actually took some precautionary measures, and they added and they added, and there's like actually a type of family who are sick in the head. Even like if you give them money to go away, live in their houses, they go buy a house, they build it, and they keep on living in the same small apartment that they have. I mentioned everything, I've written everything. I'm worried actually to be late, but it's like just actually to have a meeting. Basically it's like I need an aircraft carrier passing by, then a submarine, then someone actually with a fighter with pilot, or like an air superiority over the head, then parts of the army who are actually willing actually to just drop by, because I've been actually to try actually to solve my conflict diplomatically. I know what has happened. I supposedly was supposed actually to get something in return actually to give actually some sort of silence in regard to everything. However, things didn't work out that way, and I'm here. And I did remember that I actually wrote to the Stockholm Royal Court, which means basically like probably like the royal family. And prior to August 2018, things were way worse, because people actually decided to take eventual actions, and I'm an individual living in Sweden, surrounded actually by some people who do this and that, and I faced people who basically actually breaking in, as well as a lot of things. And of what I have learned, basically is like an American person has visited or something like that. I won't say that they have the keys or something like that, but there was like some kind of breaking in happening while I was away. I listed that that period of time I had was full. I was actually facing a lot of people, facing a lot of craziness, and I was actually facing a lot of people who have made actually defamatory comments. I remember actually the hospitality and psychology and the type of behavior that I get actually from part of the streets where I was actually living. But it's actually all those Arabs and all those people who actually decided actually to act in a manner which is actually unethical, unhealthy, as well as a lot more. I try actually to be as much as respectful. I respect actually my private life, or like life with acquaintances, but prior to between September 2017 up to 20th of August 2018, it was everything was actually completely dry. There was no visitors, there was no things, and I didn't meet the neighborhood probably since the year 2003, and an assault has happened. There's no way actually to cover it up. Actually, it will hurt my future, but there's actually no way to cover it up. There's a way to report it. In other cases, reporting it might also hurt my future, so I have actually to take some smart steps in relation to the entire situation. But I've been actually busy all my life, and it's actually crazy the type of attacks that I receive.